fights happen in boxing where it's 2-3 years down the line?
You know what? I think David's a different fighter. David, we come from not from a boxing a family or nothing like that. I believe that David has to prove himself every time, and now he's used to it. So he wants to fight nothing but the best. He wanted to fight the best at 168. Nobody wanted to fight him at 168, so he went up to 175. So he's trying to fight anybody. We want to fight Benavidez, one of the monsters in that division. Benavidez, another monster there. And if that fight doesn't happen, he wants to fight Ramirez. Ramirez is another great fighter. So I think all these fights right now are the fights that people want to see. He's young, and I think he can do all those fights. So that's where he's aiming at. He wants to fight nothing but the best and keep proving himself to make history.
This is also a fight that if Benavidez beats Morel, it makes a better Bivol matchup even bigger because he is rightfully the #1 challenger.
Yeah, for sure. We have a very hard, tough fight, very tough opponent, young, hungry, left-hander on February 1st. But I feel very confident that, David's been training hard. There's levels to boxing, and I think David's in another level.
Where would you assess his level after the Gvozdyk fight, his light heavyweight debut?
Right now, I would say that he can beat anybody at 168, 175, even maybe everybody at 175, 75 maybe. That cruiserweight, that's where he's aiming at. To be honest with you, his hands were messed up. He had a cut 2 weeks before the fight, and he took care of business. And that was his first fight. I think he's going to look spectacular on February 1st.
Did any of the hand injuries require surgery or just some time to heal?
Actually, not really. He just needed rest. He had a torn, what's it called? Tendon, and it was a nerve, actually, a nerve that was torn. And then we didn't use that hand. We were using the left a lot, and that got injured. 2 weeks before the fight, he got cut. So to me, he boxed beautiful. I told him to cancel that fight. He didn't want to do it. And to me, he won the fight. Pretty much he won all the rounds.
With the fight against Morel, what do you think David needs to do to beat him?
Well, everybody knows, David Morel. We haven't really seen a lot about David Morel. He has like 11, 12 fights. He is a 2-time world champion. He's a hungry fighter. He had a pretty good amateur pedigree. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out for February 1st. I can't tell you what we're going to do, but we have a really good plan. And I think a lot of people know that David throws a lot of punches. He gives fighters a lot of pressure. So I think that's one of the biggest keys.
With David, of course, he had the injuries. There's the saying, you're only as good as your last performance. Morel, his last performance wasn't so good. Clearly lost a few rounds. What would you make of his last performance?
I think, like I said, he won. He became a world champion. Like I said, I'm not, every style is different. I'm thinking that we're going to get the best David Morel on February 1st. He's super motivated. He wants to take David's belt, the interim WBC belt, and he's going to come prepared. So I think we're going to see the best out of David Morel on February. But David, like I said, there's levels to boxing, and David's in another level.
If Benavidez beats Morel, does it just make the Canelo fight even more necessary in the public not wanting to do
yeah. Canelo right now, I think he's focusing on fighting Jake Paul, and that's maybe Jake Paul, maybe next Mike Tyson. To be honest with you, that's why we left 168, because I don't want to talk about Canelo. David's looking for bigger things, more dangerous fights, and the ones he's taking. Like I said, he's fighting Morel. I'm pretty sure he's going to win that fight, and we're looking at Better Beef, Be Bold, and Ramirez.
Essentially, you guys are done thinking about Canelo in case until an offer comes in.
I stopped thinking. I stopped thinking about Canelo until you asked me, and everybody asked me. It's going to be impossible. To be honest with you, in order for Canelo to make history and goes as a great fighter, he has to fight David Benavidez. That's the only thing, because he's the only one that he's been running off of.
And for that fight, would David be able to make 168?
David can make 168, 175 cruiserweight. Like I said, we just need to make those fights happen. So we have a great promoter here, Picasso. He takes care of all that. He just has to tell us what weight, and we'll make it.
Thank you, Jose.
Can I ask you a question about Arroyo and maybe what he said?
Well, I can't say nothing about right now with Rayo because we're in a legal process right now. So I'd rather not.
Okay. Thank you.